Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and to really illustrate the amount of media manipulation going around right now during COVID-19 84, and the fact that you couldn't protest the lockdown, but now we've had protests going on for a month around the country that have basically disproven their hoax of social distancing and masks, yet there are still some protests they don't want to mention even under their breath. And I'm going to illustrate that as I show you what the search results are on this, because I'm going to be honest, I missed it. The protests we're going to be talking about actually took place last Saturday, and if you're taking a look behind me, a gentleman is in a We Are Change t-shirt. Shout out to We Are Change. Shout out to those in attendance of this. And they weren't protesting the lockdown. Nope. They weren't protesting Black Lives Matter. Nope. They were protesting mandatory vaccinations in my state that may become a reality and have been highly unreported in the media, especially right here. And why is that problematic? Because Cuomo is Mr. Executive Order. And while the national media puts him out as some kind of darling with his vaudeville act with his brother Chris, he's anything but. You have to remember, this is a guy that by executive order took away religious exemptions for school children on vaccinations. After massive protests, and he still did it. And now they want the same thing for adults. Guys, I mean, it is here. The New York State Bar has recommended mandatory COVID-19 84 vaccine for everybody in my state. And as you guys know, I am trying to get out of here. I am trying to leave, so I need your support now more than ever. Fully demonetized on this platform. Really need as much financial support as I can get to get out before a second wave hits or a second lockdown or mandatory vaccinations take place in my state. And this is no joke, not a joke. So local media covered it. Times Union covered it. You're going to see a local NBC piece right here. And remember, they're not going to tell you that people dare say they don't want this thing. Because at the highest levels, and I'm not talking about U.S. government levels, I'm talking about at the highest predator class levels, this is something they have wanted to globally institute for some time. And the more they can tell you what to do with your body, the more they know their authority can reign over you and that you are a subservient slave class. So thumbs this video up, subscribe and share. Let's see the coverage here, guys.
Hundreds of people rallying in Albany Saturday morning, sending messages to Governor Cuomo and the New York State Bar Association. They say they are fighting for the freedom to choose and the right to refuse a COVID-19 vaccine once they are made available.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, the idea that they think they can make this mandatory for adults shows you how arrogant the people in New York State are and how arrogant Cuomo is. He's already told you Michael Bloomberg is here for his contact tracing force. Apparently they're off to a slow start with only 3,000 snitches. I mean workers. The contact tracers. Okay? But it doesn't stop there. We'll just reimagine education with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Hell, we let them reimagine food with genetically modified organisms, and we let them reimagine weather with his geoengineering programs, right? And we let them reimagine medicine in many places, hence this vaccine that might be mandatory. But let's let them do the school thing too. And then you got good old billionaire Eric Schmidt, huh? The new digital age, reshaping the future of people, nations, and businesses. Huh. But he'll be reshaping smart cities in New York. So authoritarian billionaires under Cuomo, and they want mandatory vaccines for almost 20 million people.
Now, many doctors believe vaccines save lives. Others feel differently.
Thank you.
I am very much against forced vaccination.
Hundreds of protesters, including friends and families, rallied outside the executive mansion in Albany.
And without uniting, we are going to be weak.
Waving flags and their homemade signs.
We will not be a lab rat for anyone, any company, any vaccine company. Governor Cuomo, we refuse.
Let me just stop you here. Where was this in the national media? Nowhere. Nowhere. Can anybody show me one national show, whether it be on MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, that covered this? Any. I missed it. I missed this protest. Okay? That's how complicit the national media is. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. This is a real issue. These people already lost to this man via the religious exemptions. Cuomo just basically laughed in your face and said, well, you can just homeschool your kids. And then the state did anyway. That's the harsh reality. But when I talk about a gangster class, man, this is it.
Personally, not against all vaccines ever. I just think that there's a lot we don't know about vaccines.
They shared several messages.
I take care of many children and adults who are vaccine injured. My brother was paralyzed from receiving a flu shot. My family has a really bad history of vaccine injuries themselves.
Freedom of choice should be mandatory. Absolutely. When they can mandate injections into your body for something that now statistically has a mortality rate of 0.1% in most cases, at the most, if you wanted to give it 0.3 or 4, depending. And remember, it dissipated rather rapidly. They're talking about not like this is the next wave of the first wave. There isn't a second wave. You know, supposedly it's exploding in Florida. Well, show me the numbers on how many young people or people without comorbidities or people that aren't in nursing homes are dying. And then show me the numbers of the people that are infected that get the proper vitamin D, vitamin C, and steroid treatments or antibiotic shots that other doctors have talked about that have a problem with this and are even hospitalized. But that's the big thing. The medical martial law doesn't want treatments that work and are readily available and already out there. And that's even scarier.
In late May, the health law section of the New York State Bar Association in this 89-page report recommended a mandatory COVID-19 vaccine for all residents, unless a doctor exempts you. This morning, the governing body met virtually and tabled that finding for...
Look at that. Look at that. They tabled that finding. Mandatory vaccinations are supported by the authority of the state police power when the vaccinations are necessary to protect the health of the community. Constitutional challenges under the Religious Freedom Clause under the First Amendment and are under the Substance Due Process Clause of the Fourth Amendment have failed. Think about that. When the individual's interests are not strong enough to outweigh the public benefit. Collectivism, anybody? Authoritarianism, anybody? I mean, this is what they put on paper for my state. I'll say it again. I need out.
For further study until November.
We're America. Like, our whole founding principle is choice, and I just want to keep the choice.
Mom Suzanne Timbrook shared the story of her son.
He was perfectly normal up until he got the MMR, and they, he wasn't born autistic, and I do agree that you're born with autism, but what we have now is autistic spectrum disorder, NOS. They can't define it because it's not, you weren't born with autism, but suddenly you're exhibiting all of the behaviors and mannerisms.
He's doing well, but this mother of 6 has no interest in a COVID vaccine.
And I'm ready to retire early and quit my job and take my kids. They won't get this one.
And again, national media, did they touch this? Did you see anything about this anywhere? Bueller. You know, I'm going to type it in live. Let's do it. Albany. Let's see. Oh, sorry, guys. Albany, New York, vaccine protest. Okay, we got 1. We got 2. Okay, we covered those 2, right? All right. And then we got all the way to January, September, January. Let's go to the news section of good old Google. Remember, Google's founder, Eric Schmidt. He's one of those great billionaires that's going to reimagine my state. Okay. Article telling you about it 2 weeks ago. That's the Albany Times-Union one I talked about. Okay, that's the one we just covered. Hudson Valley did it. And, okay, that's it. That's it. No national media whatsoever touched this. Nobody. Mandatory vaccinations for 19 plus million people against something that apparently has a death rate of 0.1%. And if treated properly, doesn't even, I mean, if not treated properly, a lot of people just sat there. Remember they were telling you if you had the antibodies you were going to be okay, but the facts aren't the facts, so Cuomo can just continuously change everything. It's scary, man. You know, we gotta fight against this. Absolutely. So thumbs the video up, subscribe and share. If you can donate $5, $10, $15, big donors need you now more than ever. Okay? And please go check out the playlist section here, especially the documentaries section right above my head where you can watch Shade the Motion Picture, Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, and Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, all for free. Shade and Invisible Empire, so important right now. Remember to check me out on Rockfin tomorrow at noon. As every Tuesday, I do a free live stream that is exclusive to Rockfin. So you can sign up over at Rockfin right now. You don't have to pay anything. You know, you don't need the premium stuff. I get it. There's a ton of free stuff, as you can see over my head here. The Convo couch is there. John Fitch, my boy. Jimmy Dore's there. Ben Askren. It's a really great platform. And if you are premium, you'll also be able to check out Kingpin. Told the Truth, my exclusive video from yesterday. But free live stream, exclusive to Rockfin tomorrow. Sign up, tune in, doesn't cost you a dime. Follow me on Minds as well, where I'm posting content. And guys, I just want to say, we got to push back on this un-American technopoly, the predator class, authoritarianism, and especially the medical martial law they are trying to institute onto every human being on the planet. Make no doubt about it. Love you. See you on the flip.